I decided to shine my light down that way and let him know I was here. Hopefully he saw me, but if not, what can you do? That's public land for you. I don't know how this set's going to go this morning with that happening, but we'll see. Alright folks, we're finally in this new spot. I haven't did any vlogging at all today because I've been so focused on getting in and set up. But I climbed down out of my old setup about 11 o'clock and I was going to go to a whole different spot, but I decided to come out here to this other little funnel that I was sitting during early season and saw several deer, and there was a couple bucks that come through also. So I want to see if they use this during rut, which last season it was all tore up like towards the end of November, like mid-November. So maybe we're a little ahead of the game here in this spot, but we'll see. There's a big thicket in the back. Not much for mature oaks. Looks like there's one or two in here that might be dropping acorns, but I'm not sure. It looks like a bunch of maples in here. Alright folks, come out here a little later this morning. Didn't want to come out here in the dark. I had a little encounter last night with, I don't know what it was, but it was coming right at me and I had to yell at it to get it to go. And I flipped on my light and there's no eyeballs, so I think it was the same squinch. But back down in here in this public spot, right when I crest over this hill, I had a small buck come in. I saw him work his way down the hill and I just stopped. And at first I just saw his antlers, so I knocked an arrow and was waiting on him, and I didn't want to shoot him, so I'm glad he worked off the other way. Come back from behind me and kind of worked off up from where I came from. Hopefully you don't follow too close and booger anything out. Holy crap, that bird scared the living shit out of me. I'm on edge right now. Caffeinated it. Ooh. I won't flip this camera around here. This scrape was made last night because I was not there on my way back through. Probably from that little buck I just saw. I'm gonna walk across it. Alright, I was coming down this ridge and I was looking down at all these fresh deer tracks. They were on top of my tracks from last night coming through that mud. I look up. At first I wasn't sure what the heck was going on, and I saw a fella coming down this ridge. Can't remember what it means when they got brown in the middle, or however long it is. There's some old saying about these things saying it's going to be a mild or a harsh winter. Hopefully this one means that it's going to be mild, but we're due for a harsh winter here in Ohio, so it's probably not the one I'm looking for. out here on some public land. It's a new spot, so I wanted to get in here and drop a camera. I got my little buddy Okie with me. He's helping me find the bucks today. And we just put up a camera, didn't we, Okie? Did we just put a trail camera up? Say hi. Say we're getting a buck. There's a big buck in here, huh? But we found some pretty fresh sign. There's a bunch of scrapes on this old logging road. There's a guy down the road, but I'm not sure how much pressure this gets. There's some fresh tire tracks up there. But I don't know how far these folks are getting down in here, because the whole way down in here, there's a bunch of scrapes. And it looks really good. But like I said, I don't know how many people are in here trying to hunt it. There's one guy down the road, for sure. He's definitely hunting, no doubt. But we're going to see. It has to be better than where I've been. So either way, we got a bunch of fresh scrapes. We'll flip the camera around and show you guys what we're working with. All right, we're up on this ridge top. Basically, it goes into a big bowl, a big ravine down through here. And it empties out into a big pasture field. Up on top, we got this big clear cut where they did a bunch of logging, and it's starting to grow back, but it's still pretty fresh where they logged it. So it's should be all right. Looks like they did a timber harvest. Those logs are definitely cut from a few years ago, but it still looks good. We got a fresh scrape right there, fresh scrape there, fresh scrape there, and I think they're hot scrapes. So me and Okie peed on them, and all those yellow beech trees where the leaves are real yellow, there's like 3 or 4 scrapes over there that cut across that logging that basically bowls around, and it goes clear out and about off of that point, and it drops down into another clear cut down there in that bottom. So what I'm hoping is something comes up out of that bottom tonight and does a little dance in front of the camera for us and motivates me to come down in here and try to kill him. Otherwise, we're just gonna hang tight and hunt some other areas, but it should be good, so we'll see. As you can tell, scrape right here on this bush. It's hanging down. There's scrapes all up and down this access. And up on top of this ridge where I parked, about 100 yards, walking through this little field on top. Alright, I know y'all can't really see me, but that's because it's dark. But tonight was actually a pretty good hunt. Pretty sure this area is about to light up here in the next couple of days, so I'm probably going to come back out here in the morning. Had a nice little 8-point come in right behind me. Kind of like was off to the side where I could have shot him, but I didn't really want to shoot him because he was only probably like 120 inches. Nice little buck, but nothing that I really want to put a tag on. I would much rather shoot a doe than to shoot a buck at that age. Just my personal preference. I don't know. Some people might ridicule me for doing that, especially on public land, but I'm just doing me. So if you don't like it, sorry to tell you, but I don't really care. But anyway, we're gonna hop in the truck here and get home, get a plate of food, and probably hit the sack early and try to get in here maybe an hour before dark, or before first light in the morning. But it seems to be a pretty good little area right now. Like I said, last year I hunted it and it seemed like I was about a week behind in there. We're going down there in that bottom, right where all that green stuff is down there. It's a bunch of bedding, same in all these cattails, but we're gonna try to sneak down here. Got a ton of wind cover today, so that's good. I want to slowly creep down in here though, because I'm just trying to keep my eyes open. Alright folks, it's November 9th. I got in here really quiet. The wind is just whipping today, but it was hitting my face the whole time, so that's good. We're pretty deep in this bedding, and honestly it's kind of an all or nothing spot. Stayed out here pretty much all year, mainly because it's shut down up until November 1st, so it's kind of a good thing to keep all the early season guys out of here. It's kind of out of the way for the folks that are coming out of state, so I know they come here out of state during gun season, but for the most part it stays pretty low-key during the bow season. But it's definitely a rut spot. It's nothing that I would really be interested in early season, just because it's so fast and there's just a lot to go off of. So this little ditch is a really good rut spot. Really good opportunity to catch one of these bucks cruising through around this swamp, checking all these bottoms. Mainly all of these bridge points lead up into the swamp. So I think these bucks just kind of rotate around and try to find a hot doe. We had one come in yesterday, it's about 110 inches. Nice little 8-point, but it's not what we're looking for. I mean it is, but we're looking for a grandpa. We need to have 4 or 5-year-old, not the 2 to 3. Which, if he's a nice one, I might shoot him, but we want a monster buck this year. We wanted him last year, but that's just part of the game, especially on public land. You gotta find them. But we're gonna hang tight. Hopefully this wind calms down a little bit. And I think it's supposed to clear up in the clouds and get a little sunny here towards noon. So we're gonna give it a little sit. See what. Alright folks, it's noon on November 12th. It's pretty much well into the rut here in Ohio. I'm set up here on this field edge had some deer out in front of me earlier, but I think they ran up in this bedding. I don't know if they got my wind or what, but my wind is about half good, half not. But sitting on the outside of this bedding on a field edge, and it took me a minute to get set up. I was having a hard time staying quiet, but it didn't seem to bother. I think maybe my noise attracted those deer down here. So when I got here, I heard some stuff up in this bedding, maybe some chasing going on. Once I got up here, I hit this grunt tube a few times trying to do a doe bleat, and my grunt call was broken, so that sucks. But we're gonna hang out here. It's my last day of vacation, where I can really dedicate the whole day to hunting, so hopefully the Lord forgives me for not making it to church today, but I just had to be out here. I got here about 10 o'clock, maybe a little earlier, but it took me until about 10:40 or something to get up in the tree and get set up and get comfortable. There's all kinds of sign, scrapes coming in here, but that doesn't necessarily mean these deer are coming through here in the daylight. But I do have some pictures of a few bucks in the daylight coming through here. And the other night I had a really big one come through, and a bunch of shooters. So we're gonna hang out here. This is like the most consistent spot that I had, so I'm gonna put my last evening hunt into here. Like I said, it's about noon, so about 5 hours of daylight left. Hopefully something comes out here. We'll see what happens. All right, folks, we are back in the tundra. Feels good, I ain't gonna lie. I thought this old girl was gonna be retired this year, but she's still going. Thanks to my dad for always keeping this old Toyota on the road and helping me do what it takes to keep going and to keep hunting. I love you, Dad. But it's November 17th here in Southeast Ohio, and today I'm going to go grab this stand, and today I'm going to trade my tree stand, my XOP. As much as I love this thing, I'm trading it to a good buddy of mine for a saddle setup, and it's going to be a little bit easier on the old back when I'm walking out here to these spots. But I'm really excited. I'm not going to do too much hunting today. I'm just going to kind of ease my way in here and pull the stand and then get out of here, hopefully undetected. But this spot, I've had all kinds of bucks on camera the last week, and it seems like the pressure's off out here. It seems like everybody's going home from their rutcation, so I think it's about to get good here in the next couple weeks. But we also have youth gun season here this coming week, so I only got so much time before these deer run and hide forever. But once gun season starts here in Ohio, it gets rough. But we're going to give it all she's got until we can't. So we're going to go grab this stand, trade it for the saddle, and potentially shoot my bow out of the saddle today and try to get used to it. That way I can get out here in the woods in the saddle. So we'll see you at some point today, or my next hunt, or shooting my bow out of the saddle. We'll just see you later. Peace. November 19th, and we just got in here after daylight with my cousin Tyler, and we got in here set up yesterday and saw a nice buck, so we're back in here this morning. This buck was over top of my shoulder here on this little ridge, and I was chasing a doe through the brush, and it was just outside shooting range and down in this thicket, so we couldn't really shoot at it. But we left our stuff hanging overnight, and we're back in here this morning. We got in here pretty clean, so as you can tell, we have our orange on. That's because it's youth gun season here in Ohio, so we gotta be safe out here. I think the name of the game today is just dodge these gun hunters and try to stay patient. And I think we might work down into this bottom later on, but we'll see what happens up here on top of the ridge. We might climb down around there and find a new spot, but until then we're gonna hang out and see what happens. Good morning, folks. November 20th of 2023, and it has been a grind. Today marks the day that the buck that I've been after for 2 or 3 years now daylighted last year. It was the only daylight picture I had of him in season, so we're going to go give it a shot. It's not ideal that I'm going out here right now. It's about 8 in the morning. He showed up at like 10:30, so hopefully the timing works out, but I had to get some rest last night. I didn't get home till midnight, and I had to get my gear ready, so I went to sleep around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm back at it here at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Saul. Congratulations on your buck last night. That's why I was so late, was helping him handle his deer and getting it to the taxidermist for him, because it's on my way home, whatever. But anyway, yeah, we got about a half hour, 40-minute drive to the spot, and we got about a mile hike in, so we're going to be pushing it with the time, but I'm just going to let God handle things, and hopefully he aligns the right things today, and old Tater walks out and I slock him right in his lungs. We'll see what happens. We'll see you in the tree. Alright, folks, we're in the saddle. We got everything set up. I got in here pretty clean, other than bumping like, I think it was like 4 freaking does. They're all piled in here, and I didn't even see them till they got up, but they definitely saw me because their tails were up. But it's a good sign that there's some does in here, but we're hoping that this buck that I'm after does the same thing he did last year, cruises up on top of these ridges looking for does. The weather's pretty good. I had some frost this morning, but it melted pretty quick, and everything's real wet right now, real moist. We got some overcast conditions, so it's not the greatest for deer hunting or getting these bucks to move, but we'll see what happens today. We're going to hang out. What's up, guys? It's November 22nd, and it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. To my right, we got a little corn pile going. We're out on some family land, giving the public land grind a little breather tonight. Hopefully I can whack a doe and at least fill my tag for the year. If I want to go chase a buck, I'll do it afterwards, but there's a nice little buck running around out here. Probably be a good one next year, but I probably won't shoot him this year. There's a good chance that we could see a different buck, but I'm not expecting too much tonight. Just a nice little evening, a couple hours. And, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I'll be with the family most of the day, so I won't be able to hunt as much tomorrow. So I've been searching this whole area for signs of fresh deer tracks or whatever, and it wasn't until I got to this back spot where I just see this spot just hammered down with doe tracks. And it's in the mud. So I know they've been in here since it's rained. Which we haven't had rain in 2 days now. Well, we didn't have rain yesterday. The last 2 days we had a bunch of rain. So I know these tracks are pretty fresh. Before that it was pretty dry. And there's a ton of fresh sign back here. And it dumps off this big crossing right here onto this access path. And it dumps across this big ridge. And there's a bunch of doe bedding on top. So I know these bucks like to hug this little ridge top. And then they work back into this little pinch point where I'm about to head and squeeze through these little cracks. So I'm starting to put this little puzzle together and hopefully something falls in place. Alright folks, it's November 23rd, Thanksgiving Day here in 2023. Just got finished up with my 2022 rutcation video. You guys probably are going to see this here later on, maybe during gun season, but got finished up with that finally, and we're back in the tree. Yep. Hopefully I'm going to conclude my 2023 buck tag, but if we got to use the gun, we'll use the gun. We're in here at this spot where I've had pictures of this pretty massive buck, honestly, but he's just hard to find. I'm just kind of killing time in between breakfast and dinner today for the family events, but it's been a pretty good morning so far. We had some biscuits and gravy and pancakes, all that good stuff for breakfast, and got to enjoy some time with my siblings before we all took off and did our own family things, because we're all getting older and we all got our own little families now, but feels good to be back in the tree. I went and sat at my family land for a couple hours last night, didn't see anything, but wasn't really expecting much. The rain was kind of drizzling, and the day before that it was raining real bad too, so this deer probably bedded down. I had a bunch of pictures of them last night eating the corn I put out, so I know as soon as that rain stopped they were up and moving, but they should be moving today, especially this evening. But yeah, we're going to hang out and see if we don't catch a big mature buck coming off some does. Bounce around this bedding area and try to find a new one, but that's about my only hope right now. It gets hard this time of season, but you gotta hunt. You gotta be out here. Anything can happen within a minute, so you gotta keep your eyes peeled and just hang in there. If you haven't got it done yet, just hang in there. But yeah, we're gonna hang out here this evening and we'll see what happens. Got a good feeling about the night. Alright folks, it's November 24th. I'm out here at this public spot again. Yesterday I didn't have much luck. I had about 4 does come in and they were coming in behind me and they ended up getting my wind and blowing at me, but there was a little pod of them. I noticed this time of year those does like to stick together and the bucks start transitioning and doing their thing, so they're out on their own. Right now I think these mature bucks are starting to get back up and move around because all these does are starting to get bred, so that makes them want to get up and start moving around. So right now you really want to start hunting these does more than you are hunting for a buck. I want to shoot back in here to this pinch point, which is a great spot for rut, especially late rut, and especially at this particular spot where there's a bunch of pressure going on during the day. These bucks can squeeze through the cracks and still do their thing in the daylight. So I want to hop over this ridge here. I want to follow this little path all the way through there and try to be as quiet as I can and set up for the evening. It's only about 10 in the morning right now, so I got a good start to the day. It should be a good evening. We got some high pressure coming tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited for this evening. Alright, I think I found a tree. I'll show you the reason why. I'm sitting here at about 20 yards out that way. There's nothing but a big high wall, and it drops down into that ditch where I said those bucks like to travel. And every time that I've hunted this spot, I've sat in on that funnel, hoping something will come up on the ridge. But everything on this ridge leads up here. And it's just right where I'm standing is pretty much the pinch point. For the most part, these deer like to travel straight through here, around all this deadfall. And every time the bucks will either hop over that log that's sitting out here, or they'll work right along this edge, and they stay up against this path that leads up here. So this is a big, giant pinch point, basically. And that rub's sitting right on the edge of it, right where it begins. So this is an example of a rut funnel. Not necessarily this pinch point, but like this entire area is just one big funnel where all this deer movement funnels back in here. And way in the back here, it's just a big point. Like there's high walls on both sides. Like there's no other access from back in there. So they have to come up this little crack right there where this ridge folds and this ridge folds. And back up here, I've noticed there's a lot of bedding. Last year, it was torn to shreds from a buck. There was a bunch of high rubs in there too, so I know it was a decent one. I set up a camera in here, but I didn't catch much action through here. There was a big buck that come through here last year, but for the most part, I think they were scrutinizing the camera because where I had it placed, I noticed they worked their way around that area. But yeah, we're gonna set up in the saddle. I got this to my right because just right there is a high wall, like I said, so I'm gonna keep that to my right. Hopefully these deer work on my left side. The only thing I'm really worried about is getting skylined, but like I said, most of this stuff is downhill and it's pretty flat up here, so they're not going to be at eye level that much. And if they are, I should have enough trees and brush in here that'll kind of break up my pattern. So hopefully it fools the deer today. I can see a great big path through there, so this is definitely the tree. Alright y'all, we're finally up in this tree. I don't even know what time it is. Let me check real quick. I haven't checked my phone since I got up here. It's 12:30 right now, so it's a good time to be in the woods. We got a ton of people out here today, so that's something we're going to have to deal with, but I'm pretty confident in this spot. So down here, that water's at, that's like a big swamp, and all along, as you can tell, right there's a high wall. In between here and here, there's a big ditch. These bucks like to come up through these ditches and pop up on these ridges and check the doe bedding areas. These areas are nothing but hardwoods, and it's pretty thick in here too because they logged it out, but for the most part it's all hardwoods. A little bit of pine here and there, but other than that, that's about all you're looking at is hardwoods. What's up, guys? Me and Luke just got set up in a new spot. Just a little bit ago, we had a buck walk in on us. We got in here pretty decent this morning, and just we're gonna catch a big one out here. It's November 25th, and getting a little late in the season, but babes are still up in faith, and gonna try our best here. Alright y'all, as you can tell, we are out of the woods. Dropped Tyler off at his house, and I'm headed home as well. he's going to head back into that spot later this evening. I'm going to go home and watch the Buckeye game and grab some food. I doubt I'll get back in the woods today. I'll probably just spend the rest of the evening with my boy and maybe get out there tomorrow after church. And then we got gun season coming, which is always a stressful time of year for me because all the hard work and sneakiness I put in with the bow, it all gets blown out of the freaking water with shotguns because people in this area, they just tromp through the areas and spook them up just like anywhere else. And after that, it's just almost impossible to kill a deer, especially with the bow. But we're going to give it a shot until we can, I guess. Like I said, Tyler's going to head back in that spot. We hung his stand a little bit closer. You guys didn't see it because I couldn't really get the camera on these deer, but we had 2 deer walk in today. One was a nice little buck, and the other one was a younger doe. And they both worked on the same path. Oh, excuse me. And I think Tyler said that they worked the same path yesterday when he saw the does in there. So we moved him up a little bit, and we're kind of figuring out that little area at least, and what's in there, which is a bunch of oaks and a big transition line from pine trees to oak trees, and they work down this ridge into this big bottom. So it's definitely a good spot. Bunch of people out there today, so I wish him luck. It's a good chance he's going to shoot something this evening, hoping to get a call from him. But until then, we will see you next time, hopefully with a deer on the ground the next time. Not sure if I'll get the bow hunt again this year or if I'll have to get her done with the shotgun, but we're going to try. We're going to give it all we got. Alright folks, I don't know if you can see me and these fellers, but we're out here looking for old Tyler's deer. He plucked one right before dark, and he found some blood on the way out, so he called in the heavies, and we're going to see if we can't drag us out of the doe tonight. But it's pretty dark, so we'll catch up to you when we find some blood or a deer. Just decent blood. Some chunks in there, it looks like, maybe. Bright red. But we marked the spot, and we're going to try to figure out which way this deer went. Here, looks like a print. Right there's some blood, right there's some blood. There has to be blood this way, or straight through. Blood. Have some more. Blood. 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 There's some more up there. Alright folks, it's November 26th, and I'm down here in this big bottom on some public land. Last night my cousin Tyler shot a doe out here, and we tracked it pretty far from the stand, and we got down in this bottom, tracking the blood, and found a bunch of fresh scrapes. So I popped the little camera up over here, see what happens overnight on that scrape. Tomorrow's gun season, so I'm in here for one of the, not sure if I want to go after gun season or not, but this might be my last time bow hunting this year. I might get a little rambunctious after and maybe go on my birthday or something. But I'm after this target deer still. I've been after them since last year. There's a big track over here off of the scrape line, and I'm guessing it's a big mature buck, regardless of which one it is. I want to try to see if he'll come down here this evening and walk around. Everything's pretty quiet. It's raining, obviously, and I'm actually pretty warm. I was honestly pretty skeptical on how warm it would be in this rain, but I did just get set up, so I might start freezing here in a minute. But we're going to hang in here this evening and probably leave this set hanging overnight, and we'll see if I hunt tomorrow during opening day. But other than that, we're just going to see what happens in this rain. Hopefully I put a good shot on something if something doesn't block through and piles up pretty close. Wish me luck.